He is an ordinary boy who awakens hidden powers and becomes one of the strongest in Magical Academy. Guys, look, I tried my best to roast this MC, but he's just got too much riz with maximum sigma energy. He's got so much charisma that I'm sure he's the professor of Rhizology and holds a master's in Rhizonomics. This guy would even give Yuya a run for his money. The story begins with Mui, who confronts her brother Sujinashi in the ruined realm. She pleads with him to come back, but the guy treats her like she's a deranged mad girl, stating that they are not siblings. Their family reunion is interrupted when other members of a group known as the Ghost Trailers attack. Meanwhile, at the living world, Takashi is having his own family problems as his younger brother Gecko ignores him. He turns to his mother to inform her that he's leaving for summer vacation activities at school, but she gives him a look that even the shit on her shoe will be offended by. Takashi happily leaves because he would go anywhere else, even if it's hell, just to be out of this toxic environment. He meets up with Kurumi outside her house. He informs that she doesn't have to follow him to his morning kendo practice. The girl holds on to him, saying that they are dating, so it's only natural for her to go. She can see that he's still having problems with his younger brother and volunteers to talk to Gecko for him. He snaps at her, telling her not to do that, but she doesn't think the issues is coming from him. They arrive at the school and Takashi goes to change when an unconscious Mui falls out from one of the rooms. He quickly rushes her to the nurse's office, but there is no one there, so he lays the unknown girl on one of the beds. Mui starts to regain consciousness, but grabs Takashi in her lucid state as she calls for her brother. The girl knocks him against the wall and pulls her gun, demanding to know who he is when she comes to her senses. He explains that she's at the local high school and details how she collapsed. Mui suddenly loses strength and falls on Takashi, causing them to accidentally lock lips. She steps back and shoots some magic bullets that hit the wall next to his head. The lad tries to calm her down. She points the gun at him, accusing him of having deviant thoughts, but he reveals that he's so pure that this was his first kiss. Mui puts down her gun as she confesses that it's her first too. They both agree to pretend that it never happened. After that awkwardness, they both introduce themselves. He questions her about the glowing smoke coming out of her gun. Mui gets a little worried that he can see it and apologizes, but this is short-lived when a scout bug enters and she shoots it. She grabs Takashi, stating that they must leave, but it's too late as Suganashi blocks the door. He demands she follow him, but the girl tries to explain to him that the Ghost Trailers rewrote his memories. The others soon join, and from their look, Takashi can see that they are trouble, so he tries to escape through the window. But Suganashi freezes it. Mui tells him to stop because one mistake could lead to him losing his magic power. Oigami steps forward, eager to take care of things. Takashi is confused by the whole situation, but he unsheathes his kendo practice sword, ready to face the blade that looks straight out of Final Fantasy. The two have an intense clash, but Takashi gets the upper hand as he lands a thrust. The others are impressed with what they see. Oigami gets annoyed and attacks with more aggression, which breaks Takashi's bamboo blade. The lad's eye glows as a magic seal activates. He gets a glimpse of what is going to happen and tells Mui to get down as he attacks Oigami's hand, forcing him to let go of his blade mid-swing. This breaks the ice that covers the window, allowing the duo to escape. Haruha reveals that Takashi is an evasive type of magic user like Oigami. The lad foresaw the attack and used it to his advantage. Ida also arrives at school for extra classes and spots Takashi running off with an unknown girl. He bumps into Haruha, who starts to cast a spell towards him. Meanwhile, the duo manage to get to safety, where Mui apologizes again for getting him involved. She reveals herself to be a magician and confesses that she accidentally turned Takashi into one too. Normally when people grow, their aperture closes, and they lose the ability to become a magician. But if one encounters magic before adulthood, it stimulates the cells, allowing the person to manifest magic outside their body. Takashi encountered magic when she shot those bullets at him. She explains that the Ghost Trailers are one community of magicians who don't want to coexist with normal people in peace. This hatred is due to the persecution magicians have faced due to the fear of ordinary people. Most magicians don't have these sentiments, so youngsters with magic learn how to control it at Subaru Magic Academy. They also gain lots of skills that allow them to live alongside ordinary people. Mui stands up to show him the school's uniform. Kurumi finds Takashi and is annoyed that he ditched practice. She also wonders why he's with this strange girl. Unfortunately, the troublemakers catch up. Oigami is even more excited to fight since he also uses evasive magic. He explains to a confused Takashi that those who use this kind of magic can evade any spell thrown at them. The lad takes Kurumi's practice sword and asks Mui to escape with his girl. One of the guys doesn't give them the chance and attacks the girls with his magic. This triggers the gift, a spell that strips one's ancestral magic if they use it to attack a fellow magician in the living world. This realm is a cursed place for magicians. The only reason Mui didn't lose her magic after attacking Takashi was because he was still a normal person. The poison from the NPC's attack triggers Kurumi's magic to also activate as the other two clash. Ida stumbles in holding Hataru. He describes how she suddenly passed out after attacking him. Kurumi draws his attention to his burning hand. Mui confirms that he too unlocked his magic and he's a destructive type. Oigami has heard enough of the talks and continues to assault Takashi, but the lad uses his power to dodge. Mui creates an opening for him by blinding Oigami with a thunder light screen that allows Takashi to land a decisive blow that knocks the attacker out. Since the trio are magicians now, Mui tells them to follow her so that she can explain everything so that they can be protected. They proceed to the ruined realm where magicians live. Takashi can't believe that his wish to be somewhere else is coming true. The trio are in awe of the destruction before them. It is disclosed that the ruined realm is a place where time has been distorted. Mui sends them to Subaru Magic Academy, where she and Kurumi have their venom treated. The school's nurse informs them that the headmistress Momoka has summoned them. They enter her office where she alerts the newcomers that the 3 ghost trailers that attack them have been taken into custody. Momoka offers them a seat and they are shocked to see how young she is as she officially introduces herself and welcomes them. The headmistress asks for forgiveness since it was one of her students that got them involved in this. She gives context to the situation with a history lesson. 16 years ago, there was a great magic war between magicians. The ghost trailers were led into battle by the immensely powerful Kazuma against a coalition of magicians who sought to stop them. Kazuma casts the last Requiem spell with the intention to eradicate all of humanity. However, 15 great magicians from the coalition of communities combined their powers and split the world into 2. The last Requiem ravaged through one of the worlds, leaving it a lifeless husk. This is the ruined realm, and all that remains is this dystopian Tokyo. Everything beyond the city is steadily collapsing into nothingness. The living world was spared this calamity. After this, a pact was formed where the magicians vowed to continue the war only within the ruined realm and the winner would rule over the living world. A powerful mage called the Wise Man cast a spell called the Gift to ensure that magicians should no longer do battle in the living world. The use of normal magic is allowed, but mages can't unleash their ancestral magic to attack each other. This is magic based on an individual's qualities and personality. Mui is asked to list the 6 classifications of ancestral magic, which are evasive, illusion, destructive, black, accelerative, and corporeal magic. There is also specialized magic in addition to these 6 classifications. The headmistress commends Mui for her knowledge. Takashi is more interested in knowing what became of the enemy's leader. Momoka reveals that Kazuma is missing, but the rumors state that he's in an endless slumber after casting the spell. Others say that he has passed away, but they don't know what has become of him. The headmistress carries on her lecture as she discloses how communities are groups that share a common ideology. For example, the ghost trailers advocate magician supremacy, while the wizard brace believe in living harmoniously with non-magicians. There are other communities who take a middle ground stance, although most agree with the wizard Bars group. She cuts the exposition short as it's enough information for them to decide. They can remain at Subaru Magic Academy where they will study magic, or they can return to the living world, but they will lose their magic. The headmistress assures them that the school is safe from ghost trailers' attacks, because they like to recruit graduated students like Mui's brother, since they are fully developed soldiers at that point. The trio decide to stay and learn magic. Momoka enrolls them as first-year students. They will be in Class C while they learn the basics of magic. Mui will also be relocated to the same class from Class S as punishment for leaving school grounds. The headmistress orders her to show the new students to their dorms as they move. Kurumi comments on how Takashi and Mui are already on a first-name basis. She wonders why he calls her by her last name when they are dating. Meanwhile, Kippei has defeated someone and hovers over their body, stating that the day when Kazuma awakens is close. With it, the world will be returned to its original form where only magicians will live. This crazy talk kind of reminds me of Innocent Zero. Back in the living world, Jaku is surprised to hear that both Takashi and Kurumi are transferring to a new school. The mother doesn't really care about the details and reminds Jaku that he should be worrying about his entrance exams. The lad heads upstairs annoyed. During that interim, the new students are introduced to the class by tutor Hituji. They learn that aspects are tools that act as a focal point, which magicians use to project their power. Kurumi reveals hers to be her lipstick. Ida's is his skull ring, but Takashi doesn't have one. The teacher identifies the lad as an evasive type and orders Mui to take him to the shop to find an aspect that suits him. Ida gets hit in his stomach when he tries to get Kurumi jealous that the two are going alone. As they go to the shop, it is revealed that most people name their aspects. Her brother's saber is called Lancelot, and it was their father's. Both their mother and father were magicians, making them pure-blooded. In some communities, this is highly regarded. She warns him to keep this in mind when he's to choose his community. They arrive at the shop and are greeted by Keitu the vendor. He gestures for them to come in and gives Takashi a sword, after hearing that the lad is a kendo practitioner. The shape is a little odd for him, but it's lighter than it appears, and the length is about the same as the swords he's used to. Keitu gives some exposition about the blade, revealing that the previous owner was also an evasive magic user. They decided to live a normal life without magic after fighting in the Great War. Moi is amazed to hear that they were one of the 15 great magicians. Takashi notices that there is a magic circle inscribed on its hilt. This means that it is a magic sword. It can be dangerous to use an aspect bearing another magician's magic circle. Keitu is sure that Takashi will be fine since he's an evasive type of magic user. The shop owner attacks the lad to test this out. After a few clashes, he resonates with the weapon, and it starts to draw out his magic power. This activates a cartridge slot, revealing it to be a gun sword. The lad falls to the ground exhausted. Keitu states how the sword can draw out all its wielder's power if they don't know how to control it. He's impressed that the boy managed to hold on till it regenerated the cartridge, given it was his first time. He gives Takashi 3 special bullets to load the cartridge with. They allow him to change the shape of the sword based on another magician's power. The lad can essentially put other people's magic into the bullets. The previous owner was a woman who named the blade Twilight. Takashi decides to take the blade. They return to the class to find that Ida used his powers to blow up the classroom. It is revealed that Class C is known as the one from hell. Meanwhile, Kite picks up a lady called V after she disposes of some mages from the wizard-braced community. Because they saw her face, they return to a castle where Kite states that a sleeping prince awaits them. Meanwhile at the school, the trio are getting settled in and begin to meet up with Mui for daily extra practice before and after school. Takashi struggles to activate the cartridge on demand, and concludes that he must improve his magic control. Kurumi gets the boy's attention when she transforms with her corporeal magic. Takashi complains about its inappropriateness. Meanwhile, Ida blows himself up with his fire magic. Mui calls Kurumi since it's time for their swimming class. The two lads comment on how friendly the girls have become. While the girls change, Mui informs Kurumi of the tickets to see a fortune teller she got from Miss Violet, their English teacher. Kurumi is a little reluctant, but she takes one of the tickets. They have a nice swimming session and are joined by the lads in the corridor. Some girls from Wizard Braced walk by and refer to Mui as the traitor's sister. This prompts her to excuse herself. Mr. Hituchi witnesses the encounter and takes the trio outside to explain the different factions. There are currently over 50 communities in this world. Of those, only 7 are members of the International Magicians Association. These are Wizard's Brace, Eclipse, Club Oz, Ancient Pendragon, Spriggon, Bishop of the Camelot, and Phoenix Foundation. The Ghost Trailer community are antagonistic, so doesn't positively associate with any of them. Each community has its own attributes, but the Wizard Brace is the most opposed to the trailers. Mui is a member of Wizard Brace, but there are some in the community that treat her like a traitor because of her brother. This triggers Takashi to remember being called a traitor by his brother once. Kurumi snaps him out of his trance to remind them that it's time for their next class. The students later get a break, and Takashi notices some of the boys looking at pictures of Kurumi. He confiscates them while informing the lads that she's his girlfriend. Mui walks in as he makes the declaration. She apologizes to him and runs out. Over the coming days, Kurumi notices the tension between the two as Mui tries to avoid him. The blondie decides to go to the fortune teller who happens to be V. The soothsayer informs her that she and Takashi will face some difficulties soon. She's also warned that his eyes will wander. Kurumi stands up and scatters the cards, refusing to believe that her man will be unfaithful to her. She escapes from the area and settles on a flight of stairs. Her worst fears come to fruition when Mui comes to tell her that she accidentally locked lips with him. Kurumi has turned into a track star in this episode because she gets up and runs to Takashi. She tries to reenact the accidental kiss he shared with Mui, but he blocks her like she's got COVID. She wants to know why he didn't tell her about his trip to France with Mui. The guy assures her that it was an accident, but she thinks he's capping. Takashi pauses her tirade to tell her that he wants them to stop pretending that they are together, which shocks the girl. 3 days have passed since that incident, and Kurumi has not joined them for practice and started to completely ignore Takashi. Mui has noticed this, so confronts him about their fight. Kurumi observes them as they discuss. She later asks Mui about it in the bathroom, but leaves before she can answer. One of her classmates tries to ask her out, but she tells him that she's dating Takashi, which he doesn't believe. He holds her shoulder when she tries to walk away. This triggers a traumatic memory which causes her to fall to the floor. Takashi rushes to her aid and warns the boy to leave her alone. It is revealed that Kurumi had a lot of admirers, with one turning into a stalker. This prevented her from coming out, so Takashi pretended to be her boyfriend so that people will leave her alone. But they promised to end the deception if either party found someone they fell in love with. The flashback ends as Kurumi calms down. They end up on talking terms after they clear up any tension. Takashi confesses that he was hurt when she was ignoring him because it's bad enough to have his younger brother giving him the cold shoulder. Back in the living world, Geku and his mom eat dinner, so he wonders if his older brother is eating well. The mother is not that bothered. Geku throws away the idea of reconciling with Takashi. 2 years ago, Geku got upset when his brother confirmed that he was dating Kurumi. As he ran away, some sort of accident happened. The flashback ends with Geku going to his room after dinner. The stairs seem to be his place of thinking because he assumes that Takashi is running away after taking everything from him. Meanwhile at the school, Kurumi notices the pictures he confiscated and takes them herself. She leaves him with one since they are back to pretending to be a couple. Mui watches their interaction and decides to go to the fortune teller for some advice. Kurumi is still trying to figure out who Takashi likes because she low-key has a crush on him. She meets up with V outside the school grounds, wanting the oracle to find her brother for her. I honestly thought she would have been going for the relationship advice, but it seems like she has a priority straight. She leaves the session full of purpose. Some days pass, and the boys continue their training. An Ida tries to put his fire magic into one of the bullets, but the struggle is real. Takashi is sure he can do it if he keeps mastering his magic control. He too is trying to summon the cartridge slot on his blade. Kurumi frantically comes to inform the lads that Mui didn't come back to her dorm the previous night. She started to worry and found a map on her desk that highlights crossed-out locations, leaving one. They fear that she could have gone to find her brother alone and report it to Mr. Hituji, who assures the snitches that Mui will be disciplined for her actions. They can't go looking for her because the ruined realm is currently entangled in a large-scale battle which has drawn the attention of the headmistress. The other teachers can't make the decision to look for Mui without the head's approval. Takashi later informs the others of his intention to search for her. The other two try to dissuade him given the danger, but the guy is concerned about her. Takashi feels like he and the girl have a lot in common. He understands the pain of being hated and misunderstood by people. Takashi ran away from it, but Mui is willing to fight to get back the brother she loves so much. That courage gives him hope that he could do the same one day, so he can't abandon her. Hearing this makes Kurumi jealous, so the track star runs off angry. Takashi later heads to the door leading to the outside world when the others join him because they can't leave a friend in danger. They wait for some seniors to open the door to gain access. The trio jump into the portal and find themselves in the new world. They are advised to return to the academy by a concierge. These are mages who are overseers of the passages that connect the ruined and living worlds. They are protected by barriers that deflect all magic. This is shown when a spell from the fighting bounce off it. Takashi is not fazed by the danger and runs out and his friends follow. All the while, Mui has a flashback of the good times spent with her brother. She eventually finds him, and those nice days are a thing of the past because he knocks her down. He even calls her a fool for not noticing that V lured her out with the fortune-telling session. Takashi still doesn't believe that they are siblings, but has been ordered to bring Mui alive, so promise not to end her. She tries to call him back, but he strangles her unconscious. The trio arrive just before he can take her. Takashi gets annoyed that Sujinashi could do this to his little sister. He attacks in a fit of rage, but the older brother blocks and counters with his ice magic. The lad narrowly dodges the fatal blow with his evasive powers. Sujinashi almost entraps him in some ice, but Ida pushes Takashi out of the way and rather gets trapped. The fire guy tells his classmate to concentrate his efforts helping Mui. Ida internally reveals through a flashback that Takashi once saved his little sister from thugs in the past, but he doesn't remember. The flashback ends with Takashi struggling against the big brother. He notices that his opponent is a novice who can't efficiently use magic. So he decides to finish the fight with an ice barrage. Takashi warns Kurumi to take cover as he uses the hail to break Ida free. During his time in the ice, the fire boy thinks that a charged bullet will be enough to take the big brother down. Kurumi uses her magic to heal Mui. Ida also charges his magic into the bullet as Takashi fends off Sujinashi. The girls then provide cover by blocking an attack while the kendo lad releases his magic to activate the cartridge. Ida tosses the fire-imbued bullet. Takashi catches and loads it into his sword, allowing him to unleash a fire cut that takes down Sujinashi. Mui tries to run to her brother when he hits the floor, but Takashi tells her to hold on. Kaipe was around, and he surprised the novice noticed. He takes Sujinashi and leaves as reinforcements arrive. The students are later summoned by the headmistress who berates them for their actions. Takashi can't promise her that they will not go out again since Mui is so serious about saving her brother. Momoka is willing to give them a chance after seeing their determination. Elsewhere, Sujinashi recovers, and it is revealed that V is Ms. Violet as Kaipe talks about how the Blade Twilight cut their plans into pieces. She is shocked to hear this, but Kaipe informs her to find out more information about the wielder because the boy was from her school. Some time passes and the school-wide ancestral magic exam is upon the students. Momoka promised to save my brother party that they will be given a chance to recover Sujinashi if they performed well in the exam. Each type of magic has separate tests across multiple levels of the town that is created using illusion magic, but they must all reach a building in the distance while evading classification-specific obstacles. Students who get injured are teleported to the first aid tent for treatment and are automatically disqualified. Takashi and the other evasive type of magic users are ambushed by some machine gun shooting spiders exercising their Second Amendment. He manages to escape and is surprised when he bumps into Oigami, but the guy doesn't recall ever meeting Takashi and just wants to get on with the exam. The headmistress checks in on Hituji, and it is revealed that they rewrote Oigami's memories. That is why he didn't recognize him. Meanwhile, the first level of the town tests those with corporal magic like Kurumi. They must navigate through a maze to get to the goal. Level 2 is for destructive magic where Ida battles against some zombies. Level 4 tests those with evasive magic, and 5 has some fast-moving monsters to test those with accelerative magic. Violet uses this opportunity to interfere with the exam. She also wants to observe how powerful the new wielder of Twilight is. They cast a spell that corrupts the space, causing participants to all fall to the first floor. Some golems also invade the space. Oigami saves Kurumi from getting wiped out by the monster by defeating it. She is shaken up by the disturbance and is also surprised to see Oigami. The guy gets disqualified because he took some damage during his rescue attempt. Takashi manages to break his fall with a float spell. The party regroup and discuss their encounter with Oigami briefly before Moi gets them on task, which is to reach the building. They show excellent teamwork and reach the goal when they are confronted by a giant golem. They try multiple attacks on the monster to no avail because it is reinforced with magic. Ida charges a bullet as he dodges its attacks, but he misses the throw to Takashi. He tries to redeem himself by countering one of the monster's punches with his fire, but he is sent flying. This gives Takashi the chance to retrieve the bullet and cut the golem down with a powerful slice. They notice a playing card flying away from where the monster was, and Moi recognizes it. Meanwhile, the card returns to Violet. She comments on how the Twilight she knew in the past was different. She stops her attack for now, but the lady has no intention to let anyone else have the blade because it belongs to her. Since the party successfully reached the goal despite all the confusion from the trailers, Momoka must give them a chance to recover Sujinashi. The festive time comes around after the exam, and Kurumi is upset because Takashi is not returning to the living world for their break. He doesn't want to disturb Geku's studies for his exams with his presence. Kurumi reminds him about their promise to buy his younger brother a good luck charm from the local shrine. She goes back to the living world annoyed. Geku pays her a visit after hearing that she's around. His face changes when she mentions his older brother. The girl noticed this and advised him to make up with his sibling. Geku states that it's Takashi who has been avoiding him. He changes the topic stating that his older brother and her don't need to pretend to date anymore. He drops the bombshell that he will be joining the same high school as her. Kippei and Sujinashi stand outside the house with a sinister smile. Later, Takashi and Mui practice, and she commends his high-level mana and stamina. Mui collapses due to exhaustion which cuts the session short, so he rushes her to her dorm. Violet comes around to pick a piece of his hair to do some checks on the lad. Takashi puts Mui to bed to rest when Kurumi returns from her holidays. The lad tries to explain himself, but she throws a bento at his head with impeccable accuracy, forcing him to run away. Mui wakes up to find Kurumi upset, so she dashes out to inform Takashi. The blondie's powers activate, which causes her to turn to a baby. The lad finally informs Mui about their fake relationship and how he feels like she needs to start learning to take care of herself. The time for them to stop pretending to be together has come. Mui is low-key happy to hear this. Kurumi later gets rizzed up by Oigami when she goes to thank him for saving her. She runs off as usual. Nothing more eventful happened up until the end of the winter vacation, where a plan was drawn to recover Sujinashi. As promised, the youngsters were given permission to participate in the operation. They line up for a mission brief. Momoka will leave them to retrieve the big bro while she deals with another matter. The headmistress gives Mui a binding magic bullet that can seal another mage's power for a period. It should be able to capture the target without hurting him. Momoka uses her power to open a door to the meeting place. Oigami and Hataru are brought in and pushed through the portal. They all emerge at the meeting place where the two are informed that they are members of the Ghost Trailers. Their memories were wiped to make them think that they were students, but they were hostages. Oigami now understands everything and prepares to leave. Kurumi thanks him again, but he just tells her to get strong enough where she doesn't cry like a baby. He gives her something hoping that she will find it useful. Kaipe sends his subordinates off in the car while Sujinashi comes down to face his younger sister and the rest. Momoka opens another door for Kaipe to follow her for their showdown. The team try to work together to capture Sujinashi, but he manages to escape. The main crew follow after him. All the while, the battle between the headmaster and Kaipe begins and is revealed that he used to be her mentor when they were on the same team. They seem to have some history. Kaipe wastes no time and activates his destructive magic called Dissolve. It allows him to melt anything he lays his eyes on. There is a 13-minute timer until what he targets gets dissolved. Momoka has that time frame to win the battle before her body melts away. The two clash on a high level as the breakdown begins. She traps him deep under the water with her special magic. The headmistress is surprised that he's still alive. Kaipe admits that it was a close one. He lets her know that her past deeds will be brought to light once again when Kazuma wakes. This pushes Momoka to cast a black hole type spell that sucks up everything. Kite wonders if his dissolve spell will finish her off before she can suck him up. She loses consciousness as the dissolve advances. Truck Kuen's younger brother, Karsama, gives her an assist by knocking Kite into the black hole. The headmistress falls into the water with her weapon. Meanwhile, the trio catch up to Sujinashi and enter his ice castle. Ida tries to break through with his fire magic, but it doesn't work. The big bro attacks through his building, but the students block it. Ida gives Takashi a fire bullet, but it explodes when he tries to use it because he didn't match the swordsman wavelength when he was imbuing the bullet. Sujinashi traps Takashi's hand as Mui decides to go ahead as Ida attempts to free him. Takashi shouts for her to wait. He can't stand seeing her hurt because her brother doesn't remember her. He is sure that her voice will not reach him no matter how many times she calls. He knows this because no matter how much he shouted, his voice never reached Gecko. However, the lad wonders if things would have been different if he kept going like Mui. Takashi asks Ida to blow the ice so that they can go and assist Mui. Meanwhile, the girl confronts her brother in the throne room. She tries to reason with him, but he blows her down. The lads intervene before he can finish her off. Takashi expresses his disgust that he can make his sister cry. Mui talks about how kind and gentle he used to be and how it hurts her to see him full of malice. Her words caused Sujinashi to cry and scream. This creates an opening for Mui to activate the binding bullet to shoot at him. Things move to after the battle. Momoka wakes up bandaged up and surprised to be alive. The nurse is happy to see her conscious. Meanwhile, in the infirmary, Sujinashi also wakes up and is back to normal to Mui's joy. He apologizes as she cries. During that interim, Kip escapes the black hole and is teased by Violet for losing his candidate. She's shut up when a sudden gust takes out her nominees. Kip lets her know that the rebirth of the trailers begins now. He introduces his new candidate and it's Geku. Things continue with Takashi having a terrible dream where Kurumi is abducted by a monster. He jolts awake and tries to calm himself down. As he tries to go back to sleep, his blade Twilight draws some energy from him and manifests into a lady that stands over him. The following day, a reformed Sujinashi leads the group during their free practice. They are all amazed by his skill and he advises them to focus and train hard. After the session, Mui gives Takashi a box of chocolate since it's Valentine's Day. Sujinashi teases his little sister by asking her if she likes Takashi in front of him. The girl gets embarrassed and pushes her brother away before he does any more damage. As they leave, Kurumi joins Takashi and gives him a box of chocolate too. She reveals that her and Mui made their chocolate together, so the wrapping and contents are all the same. He assures Kurumi that he's just as excited about receiving hers when she tries to assume that he's not. The girl doesn't waste time and asks about her return gift. She lets him know that she wants marshmallows from Telmar. The guy doesn't know where it is, so she offers to show him. That way he can buy a return gift for both her and Mui. She gives a knowing smile when he agrees because she essentially just organized a date. Takashi goes pale when he recalls the terrible dream he had about her. That night, he has another dream where he's in the clouds with Mui, who's excitedly rushing towards a giant pudding behind him. He notices a hole just before the dessert and tries to warn the girl. But she leaps over him and falls into the water below. Takashi frantically wakes up again. He leaves his room for some fresh air when he bumps into Sujinashi, who came back from business at headquarters. The lad tells him about his strange dream about Mui, which catches his attention, but Takashi assures him that it was just a normal dream. Sujinashi advised him to see Howdo as they are particularly bad because nightmares can sometimes be caused by magic. The following day, Mui finds herself in the infirmary because she fell down the dorm staircase trying to get in line first for the pudding. Takashi starts to get lightheaded and pale after hearing this and collapses. He wakes up to Howdo watching over him since his friends were forced to head to class. She attributes sleep deprivation to being the main cause of his exhaustion and orders him to get some sleep. He gets another dream as he rests. His groaning catches the attention of the nurse. She peeps over to find Twilight manifest and sucking his magic. Howdo gives him a few slaps to wake him up. She demands to know how long he's been having the nightmares for and asks him if he wants to lose his life. After hearing his explanation, she concludes that it's been caused by Twilight. The blade is using a type of magic that shows him a glimpse of the future through the nightmares. These visions can't be prevented from happening. Haoru remarks on how much of a problem it is for Twilight to be manifesting without his permission. The nurse orders him to stop sleeping with the blade at his bedside, otherwise it will end his life by consuming all his mana. That night, the heedless fool decides to sleep in the same room as his blade again. He has another dream where he asks Twilight if she has been alone all this time. The headmistress calls him after hearing about his issues and his reluctance to follow instructions. She gives him the option to listen to advice or hand the weapon over. Takashi confesses that he wants to confirm something and he can only do that holding the sword. Momoka decides to help him by revealing that he must defeat the girl inside his dream to gain control of Twilight. That evening, Haoru puts him in a deep sleep. But Mui will join him in his dream as support during his fight. Before he enters, Momoka explains that the relationship between a magician and their aspect is like that of a parent and child. They are bound through everything once they meet. He goes into his dream with this statement. After traveling through some stages, Takashi is confronted by his mother who apologizes and tries to warn him about his younger brother. But the lad can't hear her as she disappears. Geku appears and attacks him during his confusion. Mui tries to warn him but the shot hits. The bitter brother disappears as he blames Takashi and starts to use magic. He informs his brother that he's not worthy of wielding Twilight as the human form of the blade takes his place. She rejects Takashi and attacks with a transformed version of the weapon. Mui becomes a victim as her mana gets fed on. Takashi thinks about what the headmistress said and realizes that he never named the sword's human form and decides to call her Eterna. The girl falls to the floor and transforms back and is happy with that name. Mui is excited to see that he finally tamed the sword. Some time passes and in the human world, Geku informs his mother that he has got admission to the high school of his choice. His mother congratulates him. Meanwhile, Takashi and Kurumi end up going on their date to Telmar. She got her gift and is sure that Mui will also love hers. She asks about his nightmares. The lad still gets them, but he just pleads with Eterna to allow him to sleep. Kurumi changes the topic by pointing out how they are going to be second years at the school when it reopens. Takashi promises to protect her no matter what. The new academic year starts as spring blooms, the school welcomed new students, Takashi and Kurumi are stationed at the desk to help check in the freshmen. They are a little surprised to see Ida's little sister Futaba. The two refuse to believe that they are siblings given how cute the little girl is, but he assures them that they are blood related. His little sister became a magician when he accidentally used his powers around her when they got into an argument over her going to a birthday party. The girl runs off a bit embarrassed at the story with her older brother rushing after her. Takashi and Kurumi are stunned when Geku calls their name. He informs them that he became a magician and promises to explain later. After the orientation, the days pass, and Geku never told him about how he attained his powers. However, the brothers had a significant moment of reconciliation in the public bathhouse. Geku apologizes for being a terrible brother. The frustration of not being able to move his body as intended due to his leg injury was wrongly taken out on Takashi. He admits that he was wrong, and his older brother forgives him. They smile at each other. However, Takashi gets a vision of Geku showing some mad hostility, but he dismisses it. The semester continues with hope and joy filling the air. The brothers practice together daily. Sujinashi is interested to find out what return gift Takashi got her, but she's tight-lipped about it. During that interim, Geku greets Violet as they pass each other in the corridor. She just stops and gives a smile. At lunch, Hituji stops Takashi as he heads over to the table full of friends and family. The teacher warns the lad that his younger brother sees the world very differently to him and suggests that he act as his role model and guide him. Takashi is left a little confused by the advice, but he goes to join the rest as they have an enjoyable lunch. He later has a nightmare where Geku states that he will never forgive him, and he intends to steal Kurumi, Twilight, and everything from him. Takashi wakes up terrified and dashes for his weapon when he sees Keipai in his room. The guy calms him down as he states how he could have eliminated him long ago if that was his intention for coming. He wanted to have a talk with Takashi about the history lesson he learned in class. Keipai has a different version. He starts by highlighting how for centuries the wizard race have eliminated other magicians they don't see as worthy of inheriting magic. They saw magic as a gift from God, and only an elite few were permitted to use it. The wizard race even conspired with non-magician factions to eradicate weaker mages. Keipai is sure that Takashi could see through their lies with his ancestral magic called strike vision. He moves on to tell Kazuma's story. Keipai and the leader of the Ghost Trailers learned magic together as best friends. The wizard race saw Kazuma and his extraordinary powers as a valuable battle asset. Keipai and Tsukiyomi advised Kazuma to join the community, but the guy didn't want to be a puppet. He dreamt of using his power how he willed, but this was never going to be accepted by the wizard race. A representative of the group sat him down, and let him know that not joining them would cause a lot of issues. The power Kazuma possessed could not be allowed to operate independently. Kazuma let them know that he would rather lose his life than be used as their tool of destruction. The senior of the wizard race tried to force him by showing a video of his captured parents. Kazuma lost his temper and attacked the man before him. Soon after his parents were found dead, Kazuma rebelled against the wizard race's greed, arrogance, and lust for power. He created the Ghost Trailers to save magicians who were being threatened like him. Keipai doesn't shy away from the many people Kazuma eliminated to protect these ideals. Those that they have exterminated are part of a system that has been persecuting the weak for over 1,000 years. The Great Magic War fought in Tokyo was Kazuma's way to put an end to that. As the intense battle was coming to its conclusion, Kazuma attacked Yuko, but Tsukiyomi blocked the attack and lost his life. Keipai drops the bombshell that the Yuko he's referring to as Takashi's mother. She was their magic teacher, and one of the 15 so-called great magicians of wizard race. Tsukiyomi, who was Kazuma's right hand and cherished friend, fell in love with Yuko and betrayed them. He's telling Takashi all of this so that he can join the Ghost Trailers. The lad refuses, so Keipai asks for Twilight at the least, as it will serve as a memento for Tsukiyomi since it is proof of his love for Yuko. Takashi also refuses to give his blade up. Keipai doesn't think he'll make it far with that attitude. But he's willing to leave the lad for now since he has not chosen the wizard race yet. He's sure that his strike vision will show him the wizard's true intentions soon. The following morning, he asks Momoka about his mother's involvement in the war. He excuses himself when he uses his magic to confirm that it was the wizard race that eliminated Kazuma's parents. The headmistress is sure that Keipai put these ideas in the boy's head. She feels it's up to Takashi to decide his future based on how much he's willing to bear. Keipai rests as he sits next to Kazuma's comatose body. The leader opens his eyes for a moment as he wonders where he is before heading back to sleep. Keipai awakens after and notices the tears in his friend's eyes. He calls Violet, who informs him that their leader will wake up in stages. Her reading tells her that the boss will become fully conscious on the 15th of June, also known as X Day. The day finally arrives and the members of the trailers gather around Kazuma as he opens his eyes. Keipai informs him of his 17-year slumber, but assures his friend that his return only raises the curtain on the second act. They will bring down the mallet of judgment on the wizard race. They ask for orders even with his coma breath, but Kazuma feels like they should already know what to do if their enemies are still functioning. They all give a unanimous yes, sir, as the Second Great Magic War begins. All the while, Takashi wonders what all the negative dreams mean as he sits in class. His strike vision suddenly activates, prompting him to shout for all his classmates to get down as the windows blow. He locks eyes with the red dragon he saw in his dream. Ida runs out of the class to go check on his little sister. The rest of the students manage to get out of the room before the dragon's fire burns it. Moi draws Takashi's attention to the yard where pupils are attacked by red-cloaked assailants. It is revealed the Ghost Trailers have infiltrated the academy. A blast takes down Ida before he can find his sister. Takashi rushes to go find Geku. Kurumi follows him while Moi goes to join up with Sujinashi. During that interval, Hituji is ambushed by Geku as he investigates. This confirms the teacher's suspicions as he leaks to unconsciousness. Moi is also attacked by some mages, but her brother comes in clutch to deal with them. All the while, Momoka cuts her way through their attackers when she is confronted by members of Pendragon. She assumes that this means that they have allied with the trailers, which is unfortunate. The trio have powers to manipulate the atmosphere and create enclosed spaces that when used together can defeat Momoka. They trap the headmistress with their powers, but unfortunately for them, she created a small hole that interrupted with the vacuum, causing her to escape the effects of their magic. Momoka defeats them by summoning a black hole door that sucks the trio in. Violet reveals her true affiliation as she sarcastically commends the headmistress on her win. Momoka fires her on the spot for her betrayal. Not that it matters, the English teacher summons a Valkyrie card that engages the headmistress. This allows Violet to summon her dragon that smacks Momoka, knocking her out. As the fighting continues, the injured students like Ida are brought to Howdo for treatment. The nurse examines him and states that his injuries are superficial, so he will be fine when he regains consciousness. All the while, Takashi and Kurumi finally find Geku. The older brother prevents his fake girlfriend from going forward because he can sense that there is something wrong. Geku insults Takashi's power, stating that it's perfect for a coward like him. He goes on to admit that he hasn't forgiven him. He is now a trailer, and he was taught by Kaipe. Kurumi tells him not to associate himself with them, but Geku believes that it is the easiest way for him to hurt Takashi. He suddenly appears behind his older brother and attacks, but Takashi blocks it. But he soon gets overwhelmed by Geku's speed as Kurumi watches in despair. The little bro reveals his ability's name as Angel Hunt. It allows him to teleport himself anywhere he desires. This is a perfect power to assist with his weaker leg. He continues to beat Takashi and pokes his shoulder. Kurumi throws herself over Takashi to protect him. Geku informs her that this is their destiny from the moment his brother decided to break his body. Takashi gets up and unsheathes his blade. Geku reveals that Violet has been after Twilight, but he will be taking it for himself, and he will also bring Kurumi to the side of the trailers. Geku unleashes his power and swiftly defeats his sibling in a one-sided beatdown. Kurumi activates her power through a kiss before she's dragged away along with Twilight. The girl also drops the trinket that Oigami gave her. Violet later stumbles on Takashi's unconscious body. Within his body, Eterna leaves him with a vision of Geku eliminating their mother. Moi got worried and came to look for the others when she's confronted with the English teacher who stands over her crush's body. She points her gun at the English teacher, demanding to know what she's going to do with him. Violet glosses over her question and comments on how annoying Moi and her brother's faces are. Violet summons a combat nun to deal with the girl while she tries to escape with Takashi. Eterna and her subordinates interfere just as Moi is about to take that L. They also manage to force the teacher to drop Takashi with a wind spell, which allows Moi to recover him. He regains consciousness shortly after triggering Ina to introduce herself as a fourth-year student. She is also a witch from the Camelot community. Suganashi joins and comments on how he would have left it to Ina if he knew she was around. Moi reveals that Ina is her brother's ex-girlfriend. Takashi needs medical attention, so they agreed to take him to Camelot's medical facility. Moi notices the trinket that Kurumi dropped and retrieves it. Takashi wakes up in the facility and is surprised to find Moi in a nurse's outfit. She explains that she needed a change of clothes and this is all they had. They are currently at Japanese headquarters belonging to Camelot. She informs him that he has been out for 3 days. She tears up, happy that he's okay now. The guy activates his Riz and strokes her face to comfort her. Ida ruins the moment as he barges in, relieved to see that he's fine, but he cries because Futaba was taken by the Inspection Bureau. They are a special agency within the Wizard Brace who oversee magicians gifted with exceptional magical abilities. Ida has tried to contact them but hasn't had a response. Takashi puts a positive spin on it by highlighting how it could be the safest place for his little sister to be given the current situation. Ina and Suganashi come to check on the lad and give a brief update on the situation with regards to the headmistress and the gathering of the uninjured students at the Wizard Brace's HQ. Suganashi feels like the trio should stay under the protection of Camelot for a little longer till Takashi recovers. The lad wants to know if there is any intel on where Kurumi could have been taken because he needs to save her. Moi lets him know that he can't leave yet. Suganashi also points out the many hideouts of the trailers, so it might take some time to find her location. That night, Takashi leaves his room to stretch his legs when he overhears Ina informing Suganashi that the lads can't stay much longer because Camelot is a female-only community. Her seniors are not happy with the situation, but he asks for a little more time till Takashi fully recovers. The wizard brace would send him to battle with little regard for his current condition. He returns to his room and gets back to bed. Meanwhile, at the Ghost Trailer HQ, Kazuma has his first public appearance and hypes everyone when he talks about their next move. Kappei begins the first part of the plan by attacking the location of the Great Wiseman. After cutting his way through security, he eliminates the caster of the gift spell. This allows magicians to now fight in the living world without restraint. The ghost trailers begin their attacks and the normal humans panic since they have never seen people flying in the sky unaided. The commotion catches Takashi's mom's attention. The lad recalls his vision of her meeting her demise and implores with his caretakers to allow him to go home to check something. Ina offers to escort him since the place is a battlefield. They safely arrive at his home where his mother sits in the living room. Ina gives her a letter from the Bishop of Camelot. It is a formal request for her to take charge of her son's training. She declines at first since she's no longer a magician, so wants nothing to do with that world. Takashi tells his mother of his desire to get stronger to protect himself and save Kurumi. The mother reads the letter and gets wide-eyed at the content. She puts on the ring that was inside and agrees to teach him. They head to Camelot HQ to start his training. She reveals that the ring allows her to temporarily use magic to instruct him. The lessons are difficult, but he improves as he takes a beating from Yuko. She collapses after one of the sessions, but Ina is there to catch her. The ring allows her to use magic, but at the cost of her life force. All the while, Takashi meets up with Mui to update her on his training. She has been going on missions for Wizard Brace. The lad wants to hurry and get strong enough to save Kurumi. Mui uses this opportunity to give him the dropped item. She reveals that it is used to transport one to a predetermined location. She found it the day the trailers attacked and is sure that it leads to their hideout. She didn't want to give it to him earlier because he would have rushed to save her despite not being ready. Takashi understands and thanks her for looking out for him. She starts to cry as he promises to get stronger. With a boost to his